We tend to believe we live in a modern world that has transcended the barbaric laws of physics. We believe that diplomacy, treaties, and central banks govern the world. But Major Jason Lowery reminds us of an uncomfortable truth. Power is ultimately projected through the ability to perform physical labor in a space to break an opponent's resistance. In 1453, the Byzantine emperor thought his walls were built to last forever. He didn't understand that the chemistry and metallurgy of the cannon had altered the geometry of defenses. Today, in 2026, we stand before the same precipice. The digital world is currently defenseless. It relies on logic, passwords, and human trust. And that's precisely why it is constantly being hacked, manipulated, and infiltrated. Jason Lowery claims Bitcoin is the digital cannon, but not to tear down walls, but to build a digital wall so massive that no country on Earth will ever be able to dismantle it. This is the story of Softwar and why Lowery's new role at the US Indo-Pacific Command is changing everything we thought we knew about crypto. Who is Jason Lowery, really? He's not some crypto bro waiting for the moon. He's an active duty major in the United States Space Force. He was seconded by the Department of Defense to MIT, one of the world's most prestigious technical universities, to answer a question: how do we secure cyberspace in a way that can withstand even a state actor like China or Russia? His answer wasn't a new encryption method. It was a 500-page academic paper titled Softwar. Lowery argues that Bitcoin is wrongly classified as money. To the military, Bitcoin is a physical power projection system. Imagine what it means that in April 2026, Lowery was appointed Special Assistant to the Commander at the Indo-Pacific Command, INDOPACOM. This command oversees the world's most critical theater, the South China Sea, Taiwan, and the Korean Peninsula. When the US military appoints a man with this specific vision to this position, it's not to discuss exchange rates. It's about physically securing the internet. To understand Lowery, we must consider the nature of power. In biology, there are two types of competition: lethal and non-lethal. Why do deer have enormous antlers? Antlers are extremely energy intensive. The deer must consume vast amounts of food to grow this bone from its head. It rarely uses them to kill predators. It uses them to show other deer, I control so much energy that I can afford to carry this massive instrument of power. When two deer cross antlers, they are measuring their physical strength without killing each other. The weaker one yields because it recognizes the physical reality of superiority. Lowery says Bitcoin is the antlers of nation-states. Proof of work is nothing more than the burning of real physical energy to occupy a digital space. When the US or China operate massive mining farms, they signal to their adversaries, "We have so much computing power and energy on the grid that any attempt to corrupt our digital systems would cost more energy than you could ever muster." This is the Electro-Cyber Dome, a national defense strategy not based on hacking the enemy, but on making the enemy's target so difficult and expensive that an attack becomes physically impossible. This is where the story transforms from an academic thesis into a political thriller. Shortly after the publication of Softwar as a book, it was removed from Amazon. MIT withdrew the work from its digital archives. The official explanation? Unclear. Copyright disputes, perhaps? But let's look at the context. We are in a new Cold War. The US officially holds over 320,000 bitcoins. If a technology When a technology is suddenly classified as a national security weapon, it is often subject to secrecy or at least removed from public scrutiny. Did the Pentagon not want the hash war theory to become too widely known before its own infrastructure was in place? Or was the thesis too close to the truth about the vulnerability of current military communication systems? One thing is certain. The book's disappearance has only amplified its influence. It has become an underground Bible for strategists who understand that gold and dollars no longer offer a projection of power in a world of total cyber warfare. We are in the midst of the first global hash war. USA, with the appointment of Lowery and the integration of Bitcoin nodes into the military cloud system, the US has de facto recognized Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. It's no longer about the ETF on Wall Street. It's about the hashrate in Texas and Virginia. China, crypto is officially banned, but the data reveals a different reality. China continues to control massive portions of the global hashrate through state-run front companies. With 194,000 confiscated BTC in a state-subsidized mining industry, Beijing is preparing to challenge the West's cyberdome. If China dominates the hash rate, it could theoretically dictate the timestamps of world history in the digital realm. Bitcoin is the only system that provides an objective, unbiased chronology of events. Whoever controls the hash rate controls the truth in the 21st century. Let's consider the role of Bitcoin Cash in this global software scenario. Here, we need to make an honest and analytical distinction. If Bitcoin BTC is the massive antlers, the immobile heavy defense system, then what is BCH? In any war, there are two elements, fortresses and logistics. BTC is the fortress. The fees are high, movement is slow, but the walls are, thanks to the hash rate, almost insurmountable. BCH, on the other hand, has opted for scalability. With the Cash VM upgrade in May 2026, BCH is more than just money. It's a programmable logistics network. In a world of software warfare, trillions of sensors, drones, and autonomous systems need to communicate and exchange value in real time. You can't control a drone with BTC if the transaction fee is $50. However, an automated supply network can be built on BCH, where subcent fees allow machines to purchase physical permission for actions in milliseconds. The honest criticism is that BCH currently lacks the cyberdome of BTC. Its hash rate is lower, making it more vulnerable as a national defense weapon against a 51% attack by a state. But as a utility layer, the lifeblood of the software infrastructure, BCH offers the efficiency that the cumbersome BTC system has sacrificed. Where is all this leading? If Lowery is right, the world will look completely different in 2030. The end of kinetic warfare. We will see fewer tanks crossing borders and more hash wars. States will try to cripple their opponent's energy supply to break their mining capacity. Without power, you have no digital defense. Bitcoin as a reserve asset, no central bank will be able to afford to operate without BTC, not because of inflation, but because BTC is the entry ticket to the global secure communication network. BCH as the global standard for M2M, machine to machine. While governments hoard BTC, the economy will run on BCH. The separation between store of value weapon and utility currency will become the norm. We are at a turning point as significant as the invention of gunpowder. Major Jason Lowery has lifted the curtain. Bitcoin is not here to revolutionize banking. It is here to change the nature of human conflict. When we look at Bitcoin Cash, we see a tool ready for this new world. A tool for freedom and everyday interaction in an increasingly militarized space. The question is no longer whether Bitcoin has value. The question is, does your country have enough hash rate to survive the next decade? Or will you, like the Byzantine emperor, stand before the ruins of your walls, wondering why you ignored the new physics of power? Share your thoughts in the comments. Is Lowery a genius or a madman? And what's your take on BCH's role in this global game of chess?